and welcome to a new segment of the Valor series, the Relegation Recap, where we break down teams that fought tooth and nail to maintain their spot in the top 8 for their respective regions. Of course, I'm joined here with the illustrious Paul Invirum Todd Kill. My friend, walk me through the importance of these spots.
Now, while being in relegation isn't the most glorious of positions, it's still crucial for the overall landscape of the tournament. These teams are fighting for more than just bragging rights. They're fighting to accumulate those points, which they're going to need when going up against giants like Immortals and Team Noob.
Exactly. These spots shouldn't be taken lightly. If you're relegated, you're not guaranteed a spot in the next week, which as a result, we are seeing plenty of new teams trying to break their way into the scene.
And of course, this week, all 4 newcomers forced back last week's teams back to that open division. That was crucial.
4 of the Week 1 teams for both regions have been sent back to the open qualifiers, busting the doors wide open. Now, let's go ahead and start with the European bracket. In Virum, aggression was the name of the game for all of these teams.
We start off here in Europe with game number 1, JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD taking on Arctic Gaming. JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD came into this as the lower seeded team, but they were the ones giving Arctic a run for their money. Early game Dragon Control was the name of the game here for the side of JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD. They controlled those rotations beautifully and were basically getting the Dragon on cooldown, denying any early aggression from Arctic Gaming. Fricka was trying to make it happen for his team, but he was just overextending a little too much, and that was being capitalized on beautifully every time. JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD looked solid in those early map rotations. They were able to get quite a few structures into this mid-game. They looked solid, convincing here, but they started to overstep, started to feel a little bit too confident, and Arctic Gaming took advantage, getting mid-game kills and clawing their way back into this series. In the late game, Arctic Gaming found their stride. JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD could just not close out this game. They could not take the core, and these team fights started to slowly slip away from them. Despite great aggression from Max, he just couldn't find the picks onto those crucial squishy backliners. The high mobility composition of Arctic Gaming was just too much to deal with, and Zunk's Wonder Woman play was exceptional. However, it was not enough here. Despite rallying in beautiful fashion, they didn't respect the super minions. The damage the JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD had done early came back and paid dividends here, because the super minions ended up taking it in game number 1. Arctic Gaming, despite a great recovery, were not quite able to cinch the victory, and JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD takes it. Game number 2 started in much the same fashion, with JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD coming out with early dragon picks here. Once again, Arctic Gaming was just not able to fight in the early game, and a lot of that came down to the play from Mowgli on that Shognar. Mowgli, the team captain, was doing work for his team from start to finish here, really just personifying what it is to play that aggressive support position. And despite some decent mechanics here from Arctic Gaming, they just were not able to come out on top. JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD just looked too convincing, riding off of that hype and momentum from game number 1. This allowed them to do things like take an early Darkslayer and set up some amazing rotations. Once again, Mowgli playing like an absolute beast, baiting in his opponents in perfect position, allowing them to capitalize on an overextension. Arctic Gaming just did not know how to respond. Hardstruck was going off all game long, and this allowed them to snowball their lead all the way into the late game. Arctic Gaming had something to fear, like getting sniped from half health. That cannot feel good for Ruiz. That is what a 10k gold difference looks like, and this is going to be all but GG. Arctic Gaming needs to come back stronger next week if they want to have a chance of getting those crucial points to advance to their regional championship. They need to make sure that they pay more attention to those early game rotations and prioritizing that dragon, because you see what happens when the gold lead is so far ahead. It's just insurmountable and cost them it here in game number 2. They have good late game team fighting. They just need to make sure that they can get there in convincing fashion. And with that, JUNGLEBOOKSQUAD takes game number 2 and the series. We head over now to our second series, Team Royal going up against Existence. Despite getting first blood here, Royal struggled in this game. Existence came out with a solid aggressive composition, once again utilizing that Chognar, and Zero was a beast all game long. His Tulin was a force to be reckoned with that Kappa and crew just couldn't quite respond to. Existence was also here with those solid rotations, able to do things like snipe out those critical dragons and get takedowns to boot. Those kills in the early game were tough for Royal to come back from, despite some questionable positioning from Blue Triton. A little bit of overconfidence here. Existence looked solid in this game number 1. overall, it really just came down to the individual mechanics. Despite Ganja able to get sick pickups like that, they just were not able to capitalize on it and just kept getting taken down time and time again. All the while, Existence was able to get those crucial structures, using Violet to poke and outrange those high ground towers and get in those crucial sieges when they needed them. Of course, the Omen played by Happy was another huge factor, able to get those big picks, and of course, Coco not able to come online in time. We get in now to game number 2. Existence will be on the blue side for this match. And we see here Juki playing Zenial. He will be a hero to watch all game long. Royal tried to draft a little bit more of an unconventional composition, pulling out that Zuka, but just not able to make it work here, as Existence was able to capitalize on his overextensions constantly throughout the game, pushing in his lane and not giving him any safe place to farm. Aggression was really the name of this series and the hallmark of all our successful teams here in week number 2. Existence was constantly on the offensive. Kappa and crew were not able to recover. There was just such a constant influx of pressure from the side of Existence, and Happy playing that Kilgroth was a sight to behold. Kilgroth, a hero I expect us to see a lot more of, able to dish out incredible amounts of burst damage, and when you couple that with something like a Preda with that Lindis, it was just too much for Royal to deal with. Royal needs to change up the game plan here in week number 3 if they have any hopes of advancing in the Valor series. They need to make sure they focus more on getting in their own early game aggression and finding those early game picks. That is exactly what Existence did, and that is the reason they found success here in week number 2. They will be staying in your top 8. Existence takes the win.
While the upsets were surprising, it's astonishing to see that some of these new teams have given the week 1 team something to fear. Now, let's shift gears and move across the pond over to North America, where, surprise, we saw something of the same from these new teams.
Absolutely. Let's start with 10 Toes Down going up against Glory Awaits Us. Both teams came out of the gate swinging, but in the end, Glory Awaits Us took it in convincing fashion. This is definitely a roster that impressed me.
We head over now to North America with 10 Toes Down up against Glory Awaits Us. NA came out in fierce fashion here. Glory Awaits Us looking like absolute beasts here, picking out 10 Toes Down left, right, and center. They just did not know how to respond to the aggression that Glory Awaits Us was bringing to the table. This was a bit of a stomp. Despite drafting some crazy picks like that, Jinnar, are you crazy? Glory Awaits Us made it look easy. 10 Toes Down just got stomped here in game number 1. There was nothing they could do against this aggression. They let Violet play her game. Throw a Wonder Woman in the mix on that. Quach just got rocked. The Rockman got put in the quarry, broken down time and time again. They just couldn't handle this right now. Every single time 10 Toes Down tried to make a play, Glory Awaits Us said no. This Jinnar was an absolute beast. We did not see this pick coming, but he made me a believer. Those beads were fiery from the start of this game, and in the end, they rode that hype all the way through. 10 Toes Down needed to do something different here. They needed to try and get some initiations on their own terms, but everything was on the terms of GAU, and they take it in game number 1. Here we are now in game number 2, where it was more of the same. Glory Awaits Us was just too strong. 10 Toes Down couldn't make anything happen here. They were getting picked off across the board. The constant jungle invades from Glory Awaits Us put them in a fantastic position. They take the series 2-0. We jump in now to our second North American series, One Trip going up against DARKPOWER. DARKPOWER, a bit of an unknown factor here in this second series. We really hadn't felt like we'd seen this team truly tested, and One Trip brought it to them early in the start of game number 1. But DARKPOWER was looking to rally here. They had the potential. They felt like they could be the ones to come out on top, and they proved it to us here with convincing fights like this one. This Abyssal Dragon is the point of contention, and DP knew exactly how to bring it to the side of One Trick here. Look at them lining up all their ultimates there in quick succession, bringing down One Trick one by one. This was pretty much the story of the rest of the game, as DARKPOWER never looked back. Despite the fact that the newer team here, they look like consummate professionals. Lucifer, he's a big playmaker for his team, but he's often high risk, high reward, setting up some big initiations for his squad, and they are always able to capitalize, even when sometimes he oversteps a little bit. The individual mechanics of the side of Dark Power, though, are something to be reckoned with. Watch players like Omen set up these big initiations for his team as well, and Maple was rock solid on Lumber all series long. It is quick plays like this that set them up for the victory in game number 1. We get in now to our final relegation game of the day, where once again Dark Power is looking oh so strong in this early game, getting some fantastic aggressive jungle rotations. It just felt like One Trick didn't quite have the answer here. They just didn't know how to respond, because when you combine this great shot calling with the individual mechanics from the side of Dark Power, One Trick just looked a little bit confused. They had some good ideas here, but the superb support play from Maple was able to shut down anything that One Trick tried to do in the early game. This wasn't a complete blowout, though. One Trick was able to find a few openings, but it was mostly off the back of Dark Power just feeling a little bit too confident. This was really the theme of this game. Dark Power would get ahead and then do something maybe a little bit silly, get caught out and get capitalized on. One Trick definitely has some potential here, but they just need to be forcing more of these errors rather than waiting for Dark Power to make the mistakes themselves. And as you can see here in this fight, Dark Power, they like to go aggressive. The whips coming in from Bruticus to just get those last few kills, looking so impressive, but it was not enough to bring One Trick back into this game. Watch the positioning here from Dark Power. They come from everywhere at once. The flanks from them are oh so beautiful. Max in the back line to boot with a Lubu all up in their business. One Trick just could not rally from this. They were getting picked off across the board, and with that, Dark Power was able to push in for the win. Dark Power takes this series in dominant 2-0 fashion. They are definitely a team to watch here in North America.
It's impressive to see the fact that the North American newcomers have shown up in stunning fashion.
You're absolutely right, but it's still a young region. I'm really excited to see what North America can do as a scene as the tournament progresses.
Over the course of the next few weeks, there's plenty of Arena of Valor action for you to see, so make sure you tune in to Wednesday's broadcast for our next set of quarterfinals. Do you think you have what it takes to join the ranks of the Valor Series? Sign up today over at esl.gg/Valor Series EU and esl.gg/Valor Series NA for your respective region. With that, my name is Bill Jump Carter, joined with me, of course, Mr. Paul Invirum Todd Kill. This has been the Relegation Recap. We'll see you next time.